Pop YouTube. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a trade recap. Going over the trades I took today, what I did right, what I did wrong, what I was looking for going into the day, and how I made $686 times my 5 Top Step XFA accounts, which comes out to like $3,400 something dollars. I'm not going to do the math right now, but it's like 34 and some change, so right below $700 per account. Not bad at today at all. Made my losses back from yesterday plus some more, so very happy. Gonna go over what I was looking for. So starting out the day, I was bearish because price had a very strong reaction out of this 4-hour imbalance, and I didn't really expect the market to rally an extra 1,000+ points with NFP Friday tomorrow. I didn't really think that made sense. So from here, once I saw this, we had that strong reaction out of the 15-minute. This is where I zoomed in, looking. Really, we were just sideways. So at this point, I'm not looking at any type of directional bias. My whole thing was I wanted to see what price would do off of this 2-minute imbalance. Now, as you can see, we were respecting it this whole time, but I wanted to see it at open if we were going to inverse it or not. If we would have inversed this imbalance, that's when I would have potentially looked for a long to this data high. However, we never did that. Market open, very strong volume in the bullish direction. Ended up putting in an SMT. And this is where I zoomed in to look for my potential first entry. Now, my first entry ended up coming right. I wasn't that early. My first entry was off of this candle right here. I ended up going short right here at this close. Stop was above this 2-minute. We did come very close to stopping me out, targeting the 15-minute wick low right there. So that was my first entry. I did end up getting break even stopped on this, and I will explain why and what I should have done. So with this trade, the risk reward obviously was very good. I think in my mind, I was honestly fixated on my potential P&L, which is something I do have to still work on, something that I need to get better at. But yeah, I was focused on my fixated potential P&L. Now on this trade, this would have made me close to $1,300, I want to say, per account. So I really wanted this trade to work. I was very just like, this has to work. In my mind, like, I didn't let it really dictate anything really emotional wise, but in my head, like, I wanted this trade to hit. So going into it, I'm in drawdown a little bit, that's fine. Once I get out of drawdown though, on this move right here, this is where EES made an S&T with NQ. This is what was my first mistake. So right here, we had a very strong S&T. Now, in hindsight, and what I would usually do, especially after seeing, if I recognize NQ was respecting this imbalance, we were holding the S&T. This imbalance also aligned with consequent encroachment of the higher time frame wick. Anytime you see us respecting, 50% of a wick, that is your sign to at least partial move your stop to break even, do something. And especially because I pyramided on this trade. So once we got this candle right here, I pyramided, move my stop to break even as we continue to displace. So at this point, I easily could have partialed. Now, yes, my stop was break even, so I had no money at risk. However, I could have at least secured some type of profit, but the reason I didn't is because I didn't want to skew with my potential final take profit, because I was still very confident in it. We did inverse the 5-minute, and for me, I really don't like taking partials because it does skew with your overall higher, overall metric risk to reward. If you partial a lot, your risk to reward can obviously be affected. So I don't really partial too much. I like to take off where I'm confident at and take off a majority of my position. So right here, I had the idea to partial, but I was like, nah, because I don't want to mess up my final take profit potential, and then also it's not really worth it from where we're at. Now at this point, I was up like, at this week, I was up like $900, then floating around like 7. Around this point, we were sitting here for like 30 seconds. Price ended up reversing on me, which sucked. I think in hindsight, I'm not entirely mad at it. I didn't lose on the trade. It wasn't really like I lost any money, but I was more so just upset with myself at the fact that I usually tell myself, if you do see like an S&T like that, or some type of, if the chart tells you something that you should do, you should listen to it. Because at the end of the day, we are just reactors of price. We're not trying to anticipate. We're not trying to guess. We are just reactors. So I should have definitely taken off right there, at least something, but I didn't. So now I'm still break even on the day. I'm waiting. I see we inverse this 1 minute with the V shape with the S&T at the low. However, the reason I didn't take this was because we did still close below this 5 minute. I was still overall higher time frame bearish, especially with how the hourly looked. I didn't want to take that. So from here, I'm just kind of waiting. The only way I would have went long is if we would have displaced above this high. This was my only way to go long, and I would have targeted, overall higher time frame draws and liquidity. But we never got the change in this state. We did close above the 1 minute. It was a V shape. I know a lot of people probably did take this long. I didn't because it went against what I wanted to see on the higher time frame. So from here, I'm just kind of waiting for some type of price to pick a side, and whether or not we're going to use this SMT to rebalance or actually really go long. There was an SMT here as well, actually, at this point. This is another reason why I took the trade. Very, very good confluence trade, just didn't work out. But from here, I recognize that we have this imbalance. We did get this change in the state right here. I'm not taking it yet. My whole thing was we got this inversion fair value gap right here, but we never got the change in the state yet. So I did see this. I was thinking about taking it, but I wanted to wait till we got full confirmation of the change in the state plus a close beneath this imbalance right here, which was smart because I would have most likely got stopped out right here if I would have just taken this. However, then once we got this candle right here, this is where I went back short, moved my stop to this high, targeting the low again. Very good risk reward, as you can see. We got it in a couple seconds. Very quick trade, in and out. I was done by 47, so I was on the markets for not even 30 minutes. Very good day today. Very happy with how it came out. Those are the two trades that I took. I think that the only thing I would have done different was just listen to the markets. Take what they tell you, take what they give you. If price is telling you should probably partial, or we might reverse right here, definitely listen. I did go break even, which was smart. Even though if I would just kept my regular stop loss, I wouldn't have even gotten stopped out, and I would have still been in the trade, and I would have most likely, I don't know. It's not good to think about what you would have done or what you could have done. Just gotta move on. I don't want to think about the money that I could have made. That's not smart. When disconnect from the money, just focus on making the right choices. I did go to break even, didn't lose anything, so can't be mad. Happy with how today went out. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all could have learned something. Catch y'all in this one.